comparing the iPhone 13 mini to the Galaxy S10e. These are two awesome compact smartphones, just great for people who have smaller hands and you want something that you can easily use with one hand and you don't have to, shimmy the phone. And these are just really light phones as well, so I think they will appeal to a lot of people here. So let's go ahead and start off with the price tag. You can pick an S10e up for around 200 bucks. I have that link down below. And then the 13 mini is going to cost you around like 700 bucks. I see some going for used, but not a lot since this is a newer phone. But let's go ahead and get into the hardware. So size wise, the 13 mini is the smaller phone, but I've heard a lot of people say that the S10e is definitely probably the more, I guess you would say, more comfortable size, I guess, in 2021, because you have to remember people are on their phones constantly, so it kind of it's like, what is too big and too small? It really varies to the person, right? So I think they're both really great sizes, but if you really want like the smallest, then the 13 mini is just super tiny, as you can see here. Like I said, they're both lightweight, and they both have premium design, both glass and metal designs here, and they're both actually IP68 dust and water resistant. You can get these phones wet, no problem, and they won't break immediately. Alright, so let's talk about the displays here. So with the S10e, we do have a 5.8-inch dynamic AMOLED display. It's HDR10 plus 1080p 438 for the PPI. The 13 mini is the Super Retina XDR display. It's OLED HDR10 at 5.4 inches, 1080p 476 for the PPI. So a slightly smaller display on the 13 mini here. What's interesting about both displays is that the S10e goes the punch hole route, while Apple, they have shrunk the notch by 20%, and it is nice. I think it does make a slight difference on this year's model. Unlike the 12 mini, it just had the same big notch that we saw on the bigger iPhone, so I really do like that. As far as the displays, they're both very bright, very colorful. What I like about Apple's display this year is that it's super color accurate, like really color accurate for like photo editing and stuff. But I think I still like the S10e's display again, just for it not having the such intrusive notch on it. The punch hole is just makes viewing content to me just look a little bit better or a little bit more immersive. But both displays are fantastic. Like I said, bright, colorful, very color accurate, high quality panels here, and they're both 60 hertz, so no 90 hertz or high refresh rate, but honestly awesome displays on both of these phones. So let's talk about these specs a little bit more. With the S10e, we're running Android 11. This phone will be getting Android 12, and then it'll have an extra 3 years of security patches, I believe, and it's running the Snapdragon 855 and Adreno 640. Micro SD support, 128 gigs of internal storage, and this is the 6 gig of RAM model here. The 13 mini running iOS 15. We also have the Apple A15 chip. No SD card support, so you're stuck with the 128 gigs. Like I said, the S10e does have expandable storage, so that could be a definite benefit to you. And this has 4 gigs of RAM. So as far as speed on both of these phones, I haven't ran app comparison on these two yet, so I'm really not sure how they're gonna come out. See, Subway Surf, they should be kind of on par with each other. Yeah, so the 13 mini should be a little bit snappier, but it shouldn't really like blow it out there. Yeah, and the S10e just loads up YouTube there and loads up that video faster. Both very smooth phones scrolling wise. So like I said, the Snapdragon 855, oh, this is not even downloaded, what the heck. The Snapdragon 855 is just a fantastic chipset for an older flagship phone. Still very fast, as you can see, competing with this new A15 chip. Yeah, so it's like, neck and neck. What you guys also will be surprised with is that gaming performance is also extremely good on the S10e. Yeah, I didn't expect these to be that close actually. These are like right on the money. The S10e is almost a little bit faster in some cases. Let's go ahead and load up PUBG. Now, what you guys will actually be surprised by, the S10e actually plays games just as well as the 13 mini here. We see we have the same exact settings on PUBG. We can even go up to Ultra HD on both of these devices here, and they are both fantastic, gaming smartphones. Fortnite, Call of Duty Mobile, whatever you throw at this phone, it's going to do a fantastic job with. Now, I will say that the S10e is not going to be the better gaming phone strictly because of battery life. So the 13 mini is going to have the better battery life. So if you're really like into gaming on your phone and you're going hard in PUBG or whatever, or just doing hard tasks, this is going to have better battery life. So you don't have to stick by the charger as much as you will with the S10e. So yeah, so I would say the overall gaming experience is not that it's like more powerful in terms of gaming, because it's pretty much plays at the same settings on pretty much every game, and both these phones don't get hot. But I would say like battery life, I think that kind of ties into it as well. But excellent for gaming on both of these devices. Alright, let's go ahead and check out the speakers on both of these devices. Both stereo speakers, max volume. Let's go ahead and start. Alright, so one thing I'm noticing is very similar sounds, but also very different. The S10e, the mids and highs, just like those hi-hats, they sound more accurate than the 13 mini. The 13 mini does have a bit more bass than the S10e though. So it's kind of like they tune the sound. The sound signatures are definitely different here. And they're actually the same volume, it sounds like. So more bass, but better like mids and highs. Just better percussion sound on the S10e for sure here. Now I do have Dolby Atmos on. I was extremely close in sound quality. I was not expecting it to be that close. But awesome speakers on both of these guys. It really just comes down. It really doesn't matter at this point. But the S10e does have a headphone jack. So remember that. Headphone jack, no headphone jack. So that could be a big deal for you. Alright, let's talk about some more additional features as far as getting into the phone. The 13 mini has Face ID. It works flawlessly. Super accurate. Even in low light, like at night, you can still get into your phone, no problem. So that is awesome. But you do have more options on the S10e. So not only do I have the physical fingerprint scanner, which works awesome and is very fast, very accurate, but I also have Face Unlock on the S10e. Now it's not as secure as the iPhones, but I like having that two options. Also, with iPhone, you know what you're getting: FaceTime, iMessage, all those features that people really love. And then the S10e has a few tricks up its sleeve here. So I can actually charge another device with the wireless power sharing. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. And if I wanted to charge like some earbuds, I can, anything pretty much that's wireless charging. Also with the S10e, you do have secure folders, NFC on both of these phones, also Samsung desktop support, and yeah, so you just have a ton of stuff on the S10e as far as feature wise. Now let's go ahead and talk about the camera. So I do think the 13 mini has very good cameras. I would say a little bit better than the S10e for sure, especially in the video department. I was really shocked at the video on the 13 mini. So they actually both have dual camera setups. The 13 mini has a 12 megapixel standard and a 12 megapixel ultra wide, 4K at 24, 30, and 60 FPS. 12 megapixel selfie also in 4K, 24, 25, 30, and 60. And yeah, the photos are fantastic on the 13 mini. You're basically going to get flagship quality photos, so it's up there with the latest and greatest phones. So yeah, so image quality is going to be fantastic on the 13 mini, hands down. And it should, because it's a newer phone. It performs better than the S10e in low light as well. So that's also something to take into consideration. Now the S10e, remember I said this phone was 200 bucks and it still takes really good photos to me, especially when you put it in good lighting, even decent lighting. It still does a fantastic job, just not as good as the 13 mini in low light. So it also has a 12 megapixel standard, 16 megapixel ultra wide, 4K video at 60, 10 megapixel selfie, 4K video at 60. And it does a fantastic job with images. As you can see, you get the really punchy Samsung image processing on here. Like I said, selfie cam is good on here. Just very detailed shots. The ultra wide is pretty close to the main lens. And yeah, so I really don't have any issues with this camera, especially at the price point. I think anybody will be perfectly happy with the images that they're getting on this phone for sure. Alright, let's talk about battery life. So this is actually a big deal. So the 13 mini is probably one of the first compact phones to have very good battery life. So I was very impressed with this. I think it's due to the Apple the A15 chip, because the battery size is still kind of small in here, but I guess that chip just did a fantastic job this year, because we have a 2438 milliamp hour battery, 18 watt charging, MagSafe wireless charging at 15 watts, and then your wireless charging at 7.5. This does a phenomenal job with battery life. You can easily get 6 hours and 30 minutes of screen on time on this phone. I've never gotten that type of battery life on a smaller device like this. The S10e, it does have a 3100 milliamp battery, 15 watt charging, wireless charging at 15 watts, and reverse wireless charging at 4.5. The S10e will give you around 4 hours and 30 minutes of screen on time. So you're just getting better battery life on the 13 mini for sure. So I want to emphasize that. Just very impressive this year. Like I said, never seen that in any small phone. So that is pretty much it. Those are the pros and cons of each phone. Be sure to let me know what you guys think. Which phone would you guys go with? And I'll catch you guys in the next one.